So, I see a lot of people with larger platforms engaging in a trend of trying to oversimplify the world, reducing people to just a little saying, or giving solutions to complex situations with just a phrase or a sentence or something like this. And that can be a doorway to understanding things, but there are really unique particularities to most people and situations that make that approach to life kind of stupid. I don't mean to insult anybody that speaks this way or that uses simple maxims to try to understand the world, but those are just doorways to understanding that of what might be happening or who a person might be. One of the things that I have run into a number of times, I see in media, on social media, different areas, see some people, figureheads speak about, and I've encountered in person as well. I think the idea is that if you're honest, your actions should show that, not your words. And it's like that's sort of like a noble way to approach honesty, I suppose. And if you want to walk that way and let your actions show what is true, then that's fine. But people apply this to others. And this is, I just have encountered a number of people that are sort of casualties of this kind of simplistic kind of thinking. It's a bit juvenile, just generally, to say to use just a simple sentence to try to figure out a person. For me, for example, honesty is very important to me. It's my mom that inspired me to strive towards being a good and honest person. She was the most rigorously honest person I knew. She had a great deal of integrity. She meant what she said. And it inspired me to try to be an honest person myself. And it's something I value. But with this simple phrase that some people peddle and many, many others just kind of accept and then apply in the world, it's the weirdest thing. It's actually quite illogical. If you're an honest person, the most basic act of honesty is to say that honesty is important to you, that it's a principle you live by. You can say it's difficult to be honest. There's all sorts of honesty that can be maybe require timing or some sort of kind sort of filter so that you don't crush someone at worst or just really upset them unnecessarily. There's a way to tell the truth without damaging impact. Your partner or something, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is, maybe has an outfit that they really like and they ask you what you think. And maybe you just fucking hate it. Maybe it's the worst thing you've ever seen them put on. And maybe you feel very strongly about that. You have a visceral reaction in your body. But you wouldn't probably express it that way unless, I don't know, maybe you have that kind of brutal honesty established in your relationship, or you like to rib each other, and that might be a way to there might be a way to sort of use humor to communicate that visceral disgust at the terrible outfit that a person that you love or care for really likes. But that's just one common example. Most people, I think, are decent and don't want to cause pain to their significant other. So they might even say, oh, it's not my favorite, or something like that. And maybe deep down, they hate it. They wish that outfit would get burnt, would get thrown directly in the trash. And in fact, they'd be happy to do it for their partner. But instead, partner says, not my favorite. I don't like the way it sits on your hips, or, oh, it's not flattering for your shoulders, or something like that. Who knows, right? But there are ways to communicate honestly and truly without hurting people. But sometimes you got to be blunt. Right? But I've encountered, particularly men, that are incapable of actually truly seeing when honesty is in front of them. It's this idea that you can never say that honesty is important to you, and your actions are the only things that can show that you're being honest. It's kind of a way to identify that you're in a certain tribe, basically. It's just a way to get a wink and a nudge that you're on the same team. And there's a lot of warring tribes and a lot of battling teams these days. And there's all sorts of conscious and unconscious ways that people identify that they're on a certain side. I think at this stage of humanity's evolution, we are actually trying to step into a multi-sided understanding of the world that sometimes requires us to agree to disagree, and hopefully, for the most part, allows us to see another person's point of view, even if we don't agree. Right? This is one of the opportunities of this stage of evolution in humanity at this part of history. And as per happens with the birth of new things, the birth of a new kind of humanity, there are birthing pains. And so people hang on even harder as the boundaries between tribes and warring teams have the opportunity to dissolve. People will cling to their tribes. People will stamp their feet and sit down on the side of their team and be immovable. It's the holding on before the letting go into something new. So, if you're honest, be honest. Say that you're honest. Some guys will say, I tell it like it is, and that just means that you're willing to be blunt with your honesty. But it's the same as saying, honesty is important to me. Honesty is very difficult. And don't let these people, don't let them play games with you, make assumptions with you, set their logic aside. If you're honest, the most honest statement is that you value honesty. So be honest. It's important. It's difficult. It requires some degree of sacrifice. These days, being honest can get you canceled. But in the span of your life, it's worth it. Be brave with your truth. That's called being honest. I know you all can do it. I believe in you. And honestly, I love you. Good luck.